Thank you for tuning into USG University, a series of conversations about the artistry that goes into bringing us incredible stories. This series is developed in partnership with Roybal Film and Television Magnet, a secondary school with the mission of building a more inclusive pipeline of college and career-ready students interested in below-the-line roles in the film and TV industries. Hi, I'm Marcus Jones from IndieWire. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. Director Liz Patrick, cast member Chloe Fineman, hair department head Jodi Mancuso, and makeup department head Louie Zakarian. I would like to kick things off with a memorable moment from season 50, and then we'll dig into the creative process and impact of the various crafts represented on this panel.
Jennifer Coolidge for Maybelline.
Oh gosh. Hi. Maybelline's new Super Stay Longwear Liquid Lip Color goes on like a dream. I better look in the mirror and make sure I didn't miss any spots.
Wow, you look great, Jennifer Coolidge.
Really? Me? I do?
Heck yeah. Thanks to Maybelline's Longwear Liquid Lip Color.
Oh, thanks. I've got a big date tonight, and I'm counting on Maybelline's Liquid Long Lip to seal the deal.
Should we put on some more?
Absolutely.
Wow. Oh, what are we gonna talk about on our date?
I don't know. What's a good conversation starter?
Lemons.
Heck yes! What topic should we avoid?
Fish.
The band or the animal?
There's an animal called fish.
Yeah! What will we say if our date asks us if we could have any superpower?
Crab walk.
Now give me one.
If you could meet anyone living or dead, who would it be?
Living.
Wow, you can't help but sound smart when you're wearing Maybelline. Let's say the name together.
Yeah. Maybelline Color Lip Lining Watercolor Lacquer.
Maybelline.
Lipper Maybelline.
Imagine if I was like, Chloe, now repeat what the Maybelline product is.
Maybelline Lipper Laster Long Lipper Liquid Lipper Lip.
Oh, I appreciate that. But I wanted to ask you, when you're developing a celebrity impression like Jennifer Coolidge we saw there, how soon in the process are you running to Jodi and Louie to have it be fully realized, where it's not just the voice, it's an idea of the look too?
Yeah, I mean, I think as soon as it gets picked, or if there's the possibility that it'll at least make it to dress, we are super collaborative. Especially the Coolidge we had done once before. And I feel like usually Jodi will reach out and be like, come to my room. And then we'll, not in that way, but like, just try to come over. Because there's so many versions of a celebrity, and like there's like Jennifer Coolidge, and there's White Lotus Jennifer Coolidge, and I think that little half up thing is so goofy, and we really like talked about that because it brings like levity to it. And then with prosthetics, like I don't know when this started, Louie, but I feel like the last 2 years, for whatever reason, I've been playing larger chested women. And so we created a prosthetic.
And Jodi and Louie, do you have that experience of like when you put the makeup or you put the wig on a cast member, it is like, and the transformation is complete. You see them become a different person?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, you're proud to be part of it, and you're helping their character, if it's a real person or a made up one, come to life. And that's such an exciting part of working on this show.
Yeah,
for sure.
Helping bring those characters to life and putting that little finishing touch on a character really is the cherry on top of a sundae. Really, it's so much fun to see and see the transformation as soon as everything is finished and the wig goes on and the last bit of makeup goes on. The cast member turns into that person, especially with Chloe. Like, as soon as it goes on, you see her just change.
It's true.
Yeah. Chloe, what did it for you? Was it the bust or was it the hair like you were talking about with
I
the
mean,
flip?
both really.
Yeah.
Totally. And it was funny, like I remember Ariana hadn't ever worn those before, and like right before going on, it was like this crazy 10 minutes where it was like Stevie Nicks was playing, we were dressed as Jennifer Coolidge, being like, just like a white-winged dove. And then we like ran, and then she kept like touching, it's hard not to touch them.
Not to spoil the sketch for our audience, but a third Jennifer Coolidge does appear when we see the mirror expand. And so, Liz, kind of what were maybe the not so obvious challenges with directing three people trying to mirror each other in a way that maybe even kind of throws each other off a little bit, trying to get that Maybelline title out?
Well, the first part is I love all these ideas that the writers and the cast create. And Chloe, this is like one of my favorites from that episode. It's just like, first of all, your impression of Jennifer Coolidge is amazing, which is it's just impressive to watch. And then going back to what Louie and Jodi were saying, it's just once you put the hair on and once you have that bust on, the character is complete. And it's just a really cool transformation because when we first start off, we go to the floor, we read off of cue cards, we're figuring out the staging, how to make the reflection happen, and you're using a limited set. We're not in prosthetics, we're not in hair and makeup, and then seeing it come to life in this final stage on Saturday morning when we're first rehearsing before even dress rehearsal. I'm always in awe, and I'm like, oh my God, I get to work with these such talented people, like every department. Jodi, Louie, and Chloe, you guys just bring so many great things to the table, and it's a joy to be a part of it. You brought up the spoiler at the end of this is Dana Carvey comes in. I grew up as a huge Dana Carvey fan, and then to have him be a part of so much of this past season has been great. And then to throw him into this sketch was a lot of fun. And the big challenge in that was, okay, well, how do we create a third reflection? This isn't really real. In fact, I actually read the first draft this morning that I received, and there was a fourth person. And when I remember reading the fourth person, Chloe, I don't know if you remember, but it was Sarah was in there also.
Oh gosh, I forgot. That would have been really funny.
And I was like, oh my God, how are we going to do 4 people? But I was like, open and ready for the challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, three was great. It was a lot of fun.
Oh wow, that's new to me. I read that Dana Carvey said there was a beat where like you guys were gonna pull out corn too.
Yeah, at dress rehearsal we had corn, and it was like, I want corn, and it was like really buttery and crazy, and Dana always is like really goes like all in at dress rehearsal, and then afterwards will be like, I'm saving more for air. And like minus the corn, I still feel like even without licking corn, Dana just like took it above and beyond in the best way.
Even him just like futzing with the makeup, trying to figure it out was perfect. But yeah, that gets me into one of my other questions. I guess it's a little bit like asking if the glass is half full or half empty. But like with SNL, there's so many ideas being thrown around, and it's like fighting to produce a live show every Saturday. Would you all describe it as a well-oiled machine with like rarely any issues? Or is it just like issues all the time and you guys are just prepared to deal with anything that comes your way?
I say both.
I think the thing that makes us survive a show is basically problem solving. Like something may not work, or a shot may not work for me or for a performer, and it's like, okay, how do we fix that? And I'm sure Louie and Jodi, you guys come across that too, like a wig doesn't fit properly, or the makeup's changed, and it's just the sketch is ever evolving, and it's just like, okay, how do I keep up, and how do we make sure this is the best it can be?
I was going to say the other big challenge is, between dress and air, when you find out that, oh, I had 10 minutes here, now I've only got 5 minutes to do that same thing that took us 10 minutes to get into. Is a big challenge.
It really is just problem solving all day long, and everybody working together. We really collaborate, and it's not just one department. If I can't do something, I might go to Louie and say, I need your help with this. And we're all there to make the show work for everybody, for Liz, for the cast, for everybody. I mean, sometimes there's wig things that are in a sketch, and Liz has to shoot it. So we'll go out and rehearse it, make sure it works well. We'll change anything that may not work right. If there's internal wig changes or anything like that, we have to problem solve it for sure. And along with the cast, and sometimes we have to say, we don't know if we can pull that off, or maybe we could do it this way. And everybody is really great about working together for sure.
Yeah.
Even during the live show, this problem solving, like usually like the last 3 sketches, I feel like it's like trim this, take out this, and writers are like running and you guys are running, and Liz, I don't know how you like quickly, that would stress me.
I have no idea.
Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes the sheets are being handed as we fade up, and I'm like,
oh my God. I know
okay.
This Saturday, something was cut before the last sketch and everyone was already in costume. It was like a last minute, like we're kind of, and then you see people like, like put on the next thing, and it's unbelievable.
When we go into a commercial with the either or at the end, you're like, well, which one is it?
I know. I know.
And everybody's just standing there, not dressed, like in their underwear.
No,
like, what
fully.
It's a coin toss. Which one's it going to be?
Yeah. So basically, sometimes to explain it is we run out of time sometimes.
Right.
We run long, I should say. So that we know that can happen. We don't just cut things at the end.
Yeah.
But sorry, Chloe.
Oh, my favorite, it was like my first year during the Christmas shows, and I was having an elf ear glued on, and then Lauren walked by and he was like, I wouldn't finish gluing that. And that was like, and like off comes the elf ear. It's hilarious.
Oh no. But yeah, no, it sounds like problem solving is a part of it, but then also just this inherent trust you all have with each other. How would you say that develops? Because like you said, you all are kind of masters of your individual craft, but so much of this is collaboration. And so what do you do during the week, whether it's rehearsals, dress rehearsal stuff, to make it so that Chloe, when you're stepping onto the stage, like everyone behind the scenes has it set up to know that you're like set up for success, I guess?
Gosh, I mean, it's just flying by the seat of your, like I was remembering last year, I did JoJo Siwa on Weekend Update, and that was so much crazy makeup that we like created and then had an immediate quick change. So you're like putting it on and then you're fully washing your face and then fully putting the new thing on. And then we did the same thing, and I think you're just like, we just get this thing where it's like, you can't even think about it. You're just going, and it is like this weird dance that we all just do because everyone's so expert and like truly at the top of their game. It's like beautiful. And then and then you're like winded, and I'm always like, wow, look at how many steps I got this Saturday.
But particularly even for this sketch, I remember specifically talking to Chloe about it because she has done this character before. And like she said, it was a different hairstyle. We played it a little bit more realistic. And I think we had a conversation, correct me if I'm wrong, that we wanted it over the top a little bit. Like this was not to make in front of her, but just like to have, this whole thing is so silly.
Yeah.
And so we went bigger with the wigs, right? And then we knew Dana was in it. We were like, we can't put this pretty wig, like we got to put this ridiculous big, right? So I think we were like, that's how we collaborated during the week. We kept thinking about it. And I was like, I think we need to go big with this because it's like silly. And Ariana's like little teeny tiny thing. And like, this would be so funny. The two of you are just in these big wigs and then there's Dana. So that's an example, I think, of like talking it through. And that was probably like on a Friday, you know, we were discussing that. And
because we didn't, sorry.
No, go ahead. We didn't know.
I don't even think we got Dana, it's always like down to the wire to find out if a celebrity is okay to do it. And that could be sort of a dance with a rock star or what have you. But luckily Dana was game. But you have a consideration of like, are you okay to like put on boobs in a dress? And he's like, okay.
The other big thing is too, like keeping in, like when we do these, we always have to plan out too how much time we have, because we can't do this crazy elaborate makeup and go, like with the JoJo Siwa thing, even as example. we can't use makeups that are going to stay on and take too long to take off. So everything has to be planned out for, okay, we need to be able to do it as fast as possibly can be done, because we never know what's going to happen from dress to air. We never know how much, even until from Friday to Saturday, it changes. We'll have a rundown on Friday, and then on Saturday they've changed the order. And we'll go, okay, well.
But I also think that like what's so amazing is like if the wig is like specific and like speaks, and you slap on a quick, really artfully made prosthetics, it's like you can have so much like specificity of a character and like really have something pop in a quick amount of time. And like I think that's what you guys are so amazing at.
Thank you.
Another question I had about impressions, like this one in particular, is it something that's developed sort of week to week? Like we know the host is going to be this person, and so maybe we want to do this impression, or is it just something, Chloe and Jodi and Louie, that you all are thinking like in the background throughout the season? Like Chloe, maybe you develop your Timothy Chalamet impression like weeks before, or even before you even know he's hosting, and have a conversation about like, well, if we were to do this, maybe I want to try on this wig and like this lip or something.
I think when I started, I would be like, oh, this, movie star will want me to stand next to them and mock them. And then very, very quickly, you just learn to like let that go, because it's, too much heartbreak, or I don't know, whatever. But so anytime an impression really gets on the show, I'm always like so pleasantly surprised, just because we're such, we're friends with all these people, and you have to like, it's kind of like this little mountain you have to climb. And I know like Jennifer Coolidge is like a dream host. You got to do it like so kindly. But that one was like a joke pitch because they were doing a Chalamet lookalike contest in the West Village. So I was like, oh, maybe it's like a Coolidge sound alike. And that wasn't even a real sketch idea. We're just supposed to pitch the hosts like funny jokes. And I had a completely different idea that week. And then Ariana was the one who was like, let's do it. And then Kent Sublet and Allison Gates, the head writers, were like, I think we gotta. And so we were like, what? And then kind of weirdly created this Maybelline ad with like, none of it was planned that week, which I think made it really feel fun and special.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Martin.
Liz, just going broader, this being a landmark season, do you think you all prepared for season 50 any differently, or was it kind of business as usual going into, I guess, the fall?
Yeah, Liz.
Like, I don't know if you can prepare. I mean, it's like we knew it was going to be a big season, and we knew it was going to, like, a lot of things are going to be thrown at us from all different directions. And I think everyone has handled it so well and so graceful. And yeah, in terms of preparation, I feel like, this is my 4th season. I'm happy I had the 3 seasons before stepping into this year. That definitely, helped me out, and just my relationships with everyone on the show, and then feeling confident myself and what I can bring to the table. But yeah, I mean, what a fun season. We've done so much with so many great people. And I mean, I just love every crazy idea that comes up. And I said that before, but I just am excited when it's a challenge, and enjoy bringing it all to life.
Helping me tonight is fellow insane film enthusiast and my lover, Helmut. Please welcome Helmut Vosch.
I feel like this, because everyone has been so nostalgic about the show this season, I'm just imagining like Jodi, you like teasing Dana's old Wayne's World wig into like the Jennifer Coolidge wig, or like Louie, maybe you have a mood board of like Gumby next to the iceberg, like sort of and I mean Chloe as well. I wonder just like if any of sort of the show's history was more front of mind because this season was such a celebration.
Beyond. Every week it was like, I mean, it was such a gift, honestly, having Dana, because he is the kindest, most easygoing. He's just like the sweetest guy. Like it like makes you, I don't know, it like made me kind of emotional because we can become so bratty at the show, or like, I don't know, you're like, my thing didn't, oh, and why are they, you know, and maybe it's not expressed, but like, we're all really tired is what I'm trying to say. And then to see someone like Dana, who's just so like effortless and like treats everybody with kindness and is your hero as a kid. I mean, like I was like obsessed with Wayne's World and everything Dana's done. It just gave you nostalgia, but also like an appreciation for the greats. And it was really lucky to get to see Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, in addition to who we always have, which is like Maya and Kristen, and they're just unbelievably the best. But you kind of like learned a way of approaching the show with like, you know, working really hard, taking it really seriously, but having fun and ease and being like kind and appreciating it. Cause like they've all gone on to do other stuff. And then when they come back, it's like really special to them. So don't kick your door when your thing gets cut, Chloe, or whatever.
See, that's like the stuff I wouldn't even think of, Chloe. It's like, I forget that you guys are all, you know, you all have pieces that are brought to the table. And when something gets cut, it's like, for me, I'm like, okay, I can lose this. I can move this. I don't need this set. But it's like a whole other world back there when you guys get things cut and we forget.
It's got, I mean, it definitely gets a lot easier. I've noticed, not that I'm like checked out, but it is, you just like, it's a good life lesson. Especially when it's like, you're dressed as like a Chihuahua dog. It's always that. It's always like, lady poo-poo got cut, you know, my poo-poo lady got, you know, and you're dressed as a Chihuahua and you're like, you know, and you're like, this is completely insane.
That's hilarious. I mean, that makes me wonder as well, like, is show day always the hardest day, or is there another day that maybe is the peak of you all thinking like, I don't know how we're gonna pull this one together?
I think Wednesday that happens for me is like, how are we going to do this? And then especially like I start reading the scripts around 10 o'clock in the morning as they start popping up on the server. And then we're reading all the way till we get to read through. And then you see which ones are playing well. And then I go into Lauren's office and we see what's moving forward. And it's like, okay, how are we going to do that? And there's not a lot of time. And so it's every department though. It's production design, it's Jodi's world and hair, Louie's world and makeup. And it's so impressive how everyone just pulls it all together, and it's constantly evolving. Sometimes the set is changing. I'm sure wigs are changing constantly, makeup's changing constantly. But Wednesday's that first day of just like, oh wow, we have to build a roller coaster? How do we do that? You know, it's just things like that. But it's a fun challenge.
Yeah, I think for us, I would say Thursday, and then because we have Friday pre-tapes.
Yeah, Friday.
So so Thursday, you know, we get our picks Wednesday night. I don't get out until about 1 a.m. on Wednesday. And because I have to put my wig builds into my shop because we build a lot of our wigs. So sometimes, and we've been starting our read-throughs later and later. So it's getting really like, it gets hard because it takes it takes a normal place about 80 hours to build a wig, and we do it in about 40. So we know we can't build a wig for, let's say, Chloe on a pre-tape if she wants, but we can maybe refront it and or something if it's a real character. And we always want everything to look good. So Thursday, depending on how hard that Friday pre-tape is a challenging day because I haven't even gotten to the show yet. I'm focused on these 3 pre-tapes that we're doing in 12 hours, you know? So that becomes pretty difficult. So by Friday, like Chloe's saying, I'm like, oh, shit, don't know if I'm going to get through Saturday. Like, I still have all these show wigs standing there. And as Liz says, like things are getting changed, things are getting cut. I'll give it this week. Mikey was playing somebody in the a different person in the cold open. And I built that wig. And 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday night, I was told he wasn't playing him. He was playing somebody else.
Then it became
Roybal. And then and then Devin was playing Shabuzi, and I was like, "Oh my God, that beautiful man! This beautiful man's big dreads. How am I doing this? And for the first time, I said to one of our writers, Brian Tucker, I don't know if I can do this. And Liz, I think you were on that text. I don't remember. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And he came to my room and he was like, do I have to cut this? And, who wants to be that person? That they wigged weren't and can't figure it out. Yeah. And we pulled it off and it was so beautiful. And of course it got cut, but we made it happen and it was beautiful.
On the other end of that too, is the same thing with the makeup. Like we'll find out on Wednesday night what we have to have for a pre-tape on Friday. We did this season, the Grinch. We did a whole Grinch shoot with Marty Short as the Grinch and all the cast is all Who's. So we have to build all those prosthetics, custom made prosthetics, which normally take weeks. We have 24 hours to build all that stuff. And then to build a whole Grinch makeup on Marty Short and get it to apply. And then also the cast has to sit there with Who noses on that they can't breathe in.
Every time you breathed out like little droplets of water, and then you poked little holes. And then if I went like little, it was like pew, pew for hours.
And the cast has to be in that all day because they're shooting all day. And then they got to come back to the studio and rehearse. And then we've had to do the show on Saturday. And then on Saturday night, after all that, it got cut.
It went online, thank God.
Went online, thank goodness it went online. But you put all that into it, and everybody's put so much into it, and you're like, oh, okay, well, at least it'll get on air somewhere.
Yeah.
People will still see it.
Yeah.
We definitely don't take it personally anymore. You can't. You
gotta
let it move on.
I think that, like, as a cast member, that's what would stress me out the most on Saturday between dress and air is just like, I would get like so emotional about like the amount of work that everyone put into stuff. Like we had this sketch with Timothy Chalamet, this like weird French variety sketch. And when that got cut, like Sam in costumes had like handmade this dress and it was like the most incredible, like Cher could never, even better than Cher. It was just like, and the sets and like all the blocking we did, Liz, and I was really just like, I didn't care about my idea or anything. It's just the work that everyone else did. But then we brought it back with Kristen Wiig and, yay.
And we nailed it.
And we nailed it.
Was great.
It was even better. Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of gets to sort of what was going to be my last question is that you all just listening to you all put so much work into this. And I'm definitely someone who can hyperfixate on certain things or like something that maybe someone else doesn't notice means a lot to me. And so I love to ask that, like, what's a small detail, whether it's the beat of a sketch, a specific look, sort of any kind of direction that you may have given Liz, that is maybe small to the viewer, but like made such a big impact in your eyes. Like that was the detail that made this sketch work.
Sometimes it's just something so simple. And I feel like all the cast members are just so talented and just comically, their timing is great. And so I think it's just feeling the moment, and like also on Saturday, like feeling the laughs from the crowd. I mean, like, in the morning when we rehearse, it's going to play much differently. And I think sometimes timing, everyone's like, oh, we might be a little late on that cut. And it's like, well, wait, hold on a minute. Remember that we think we're going to get a laugh there. And so it's just feeling those things out. And I think it really comes together by dress rehearsal and everyone feels it and sees it for the first time. And that's actually what then determines what moves forward. Right. And then hopefully it doesn't change too much between dress and hair. Because then that's just managing those changes. But everyone just brings something to the table, and it's like, wait, it's like the best idea is going to win, right? I can come up with an idea, but if then Chloe presents something that I think is better, I'm like, oh wait, that's the way to go. You're right. So it's just, it goes back to collaboration. What Jodi was saying earlier, it's just so much fun to collaborate with all these great people and then be given a platform to present it on. It's amazing.
The other great thing is like when you watch it even on this sketch, you can see they haven't really seen each other in full makeup, hair.
Right.
I know, until like that. Yeah.
When they look at each other and they see each other and they start to feel it, it's just, and knowing that we all came together and put this out there, it's just really gratifying, and it's one of the happiest things that makes me the happiest is when I see them enjoying it so much, and it's
The boobies jiggling while they were
the whole-
giggling when they were
it's
looking at
just-
Dana. Looked at Dana, and they both were like, and all you saw was
Oh my God, that's
It's
amazing.
hilarious.
I love ending on the note of the boobies jiggling.
Yeah.
One thing that I can appreciate about our conversation is just already going into this, believing you all work so hard and hearing how much work it really takes to put this show together. And I think season 50 has been amazing. Thank you for joining us for this year's USG University. Saturday Night Live airs on Saturdays at 11:30 Eastern on NBC, and you can catch up on episodes on Peacock. Thanks again, everyone.